Tubing, and today we'll be learning about Mao Zedong.
Mao Zedong had humble beginnings that would help him reshape China and gain status as a revolutionary that rivals Lenin's reputation. Mao Zedong was born in Shaoshan, China, on December 26, 1893. His father, Mao Documentary, was a poor peasant that started a career in trading rice. He had two brothers and a sister. At age 21, Mao Zedong left home for the first time to go to college. He lacked any formal education, but he had a good understanding of social problems, Chinese history, and current affairs that helped pave way for politics. Mao worked under Li Dazhao, the head librarian at Peking University. Dazhao was a pioneer Marxist, and he introduced Karl Marx ideas to Mao. The Marxist ideas appealed to Mao, and he spent much of his free time reading about Karl Marx and communism. Mao Zedong became a school teacher and took part in the May 4th movement, which protested the Treaty of Versailles. On July 23, 1921, Mao Zedong, now 27 years old, attended the first session of the National Congress of the Communist Party of China. He was one of the 50 founding members of the Communist Party of China, or the CPC. Mao's main task was to coordinate policies between the CPC and the Kuomintang, or the KMT, the major political party in China. In 1923, Mao was elected as one of 5 commissaires of the Central Committee. Over the next few years, Mao and his colleagues adapted the idea of Vladimir Lenin to fit the needs of China.
In 1934, the Red Army, headed by the CPC, fought against the KMT in the Chinese Civil War. While retreating from the advancing KMT forces, they were separated into 2 groups, one headed by Mao and the other headed by Zhang Yuta. Determined to reunite with Gaucha's forces, Mao began the Long March, covering 6,000 miles in just 1 year. Only 1/10 of Mao's forces made it from Jiangxi to Shaanxi.
Yay, we made it! Woo!
Yay!
Mao Zedong depended on guerrilla warfare and peasantry to win the Civil War for the Communist Party. Since the Great Leap Forward campaign to modernize China had failed, Mao turned many responsibilities over to some of the other leaders. Mao was a strong believer in domination. In 1966, Mao initiated the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution. This revolution was where all the peasants were given jobs, and the owners of the workplaces were replaced by the workers. Mao believed that the problems with China could only be resolved within China. Mao wanted to sabotage the lives of imperialism and feudalism. He helped establish the Soviet Republic of China. Mao became the chairman of the Communist Party in 1954. Mao Zedong once said in a speech, "A Communist Party in the 8th Route and Newfourth Armies led by a party are proletarians of the revolution. These proletarians of ours are wholly dedicated to the liberation of the people and work entirely in the people's interest." During the Great Cultural Revolution, the book titled Quotations of the Chairman, Mao Zedong, often referred to as the infamous Little Red Book, was a must-have item for the Chinese. In 10 years alone, over 5 billion copies of the book were printed in 50 different languages. Once Mao had taken control, enormous posters of him were hung up on every major building and inside every office building. It was a requirement for everyone to bow to a picture of Mao 3 times a day. Mao Zedong was regarded as a god by his peers. By 1949, Mao and his fellow communists controlled all of China.
In his late 70s, Mao suffered from Parkinson's disease, which physically weakened him. His ability to meet the demands of China grew increasingly weak. Soon after, Mao suffered 3 heart attacks. Several days after his 3rd heart attack, Mao was restricted to breathing from his left side. Mao's 4th wife, Jing Kang, made the doctor come over and roll Mao to his right side. The doctor warned Jing that by rolling him over, he might die, but she had the doctor roll him over anyway. Consequently, Mao Zedong died. Mao died as China's leader of communism and the Communist Revolution. His impact on China continues today. His face is on every piece of currency circulated within China, and a large portrait of him is still hung in Tiananmen Square.